Next, this is how Modigliani and Miller proves that dividend policy and market value of share are both are independent. Whether the company is paying dividend or not, the value of share is not influenced in the market. So this is the final derivation. This is most important concept as far as final exam is concerned. So most of the questions in the past, this was included in the CA final examination, the part of old SFM question paper. Dividend decisions was taken from CA final old syllabus. In the past CA final exams, you can observe out of every 2 attempts, 1 question will come from dividend decisions. Out of 2 times, 1 question will come from Modigliani and Miller. This topic is most important as far as final exam is concerned. So if you ask me priorities in the concepts, first priority I will give you with respect to MM theory, then Walter, then Gardner. The remaining topics are miscellaneous. So, I'm moving to problematic part. Before moving to problematic part, I am giving you some formulas which are most important and which simplifies the calculation part. So, I told you that the value of share is equal to D1 plus P1 divided by 1 plus K. If you ask me what would be the value of share at the end of year 1, this one, then how to find that? Just cross multiply. P0 multiplied by 1 plus K minus P1. This is derivation 1. Derivation 2. Additional amount raised by issue of new equity is equal to I minus E minus ND1. So I refers to required investment. E refers to earnings available. D1 refers to dividend per share. Dividend per share. N refers to number of shares outstanding. This is denoted as MP1. If they ask to find number of new shares to be issued, this is nothing but M. You already know the amount formula, that is MP1. They ask you to find M, then M is equal to I minus P minus ND1 divided by P1. So value of company NP0. N means number of existing shares, P0 current market price. The value of company as on today is equal to N into N plus M into P1 minus I plus E divided by 1 plus P. So I am starting this discussion with problem number 10. RST has a capital of 10 lakhs in equity share capital of 100 each. So they have 10 lakh share capital of 100 each. That means 10 lakhs divided by 100, they have 10,000 shares of 100 each. The shares are currently quoted at par. Face value is equal to market price, which is equal to 100. So P not equal to 100, N is equal to 10,000 shares. The company proposes to declare a dividend of 10 per share at the end of the year. The capitalization rate for the risk class of which the company belongs is 12%. That is the minimum rate of return expected by the equity investors. So whenever capitalization rate was there, capitalization rate is nothing but cost of equity. What will be the market price of the share at the end of the year? So they asked to find that is question number 1, if dividend is declared, if dividend is not declared. So two scenarios. P1 is equal to P0 into 1 plus K minus P1. This is the formula. If dividend is not paid, then P1 is equal to P100, 1 plus K 1.12, no dividend means 0. So this is very complicated calculation. Share value 1/4. Not 2 rupees. This is question number 1 completed. Assuming that the company pays dividend and has net profit of 5 lakhs and makes new investment of 10 lakhs during the period, how many new shares must be issued? Use MM model. Assuming that the company pays the dividend. If the company pays the dividend, The share value would be 102. Number of new shares to be issued. That is M is equal to, you know that I minus E minus ND1 divided by P1. So I, new investment 10 lakhs minus E, they have 5 lakhs minus N 10,000 shares. One lakh. So 5 lakhs minus 1 lakh, 4 lakh. 10 lakhs minus 4 lakhs, 6 lakhs divided by 102. $3,922 shares. So 5 lakhs minus 1 lakh, 4, 6 lakhs divided by 1 lakh, 5,882.883 shares. Or you can also do like this. They want to make investment of 10 lakhs. So first, this investment has to be financed with retained earnings. If they are not sufficient, then we will go for fresh issue. Right now, we have 5 lakhs available for the company. This amount can be paid as dividend or you can use for investment. But they decided to pay the dividend. On 10,000 shares, 10,000 into 10. So after payment of dividend, that means available for investment. You need still 6 lakhs. This is called M. M means additional funds required for investment. M. So each share will be issued at 10. Since you paid the dividend, the share price in the market has been corrected. Right now it is trading at 100, after 1 year that would be 102 ex-dividend price. $5,883 shares. So you can also find like that. This is about problem number 10. Problem number 11. M Limited belongs to a risk class for which the capitalization rate is 10%. See, capitalization rate means cost of equity KE. It has 25,000 shares outstanding. Current market price is rupees 100. It expects a net profit of 2,50,000 for the year, and the board is considering a dividend of rupees 5 per share. So per share 5 rupees. We have 25,000 shares. 25,000 into 5, 1,25,000 dividend to be paid out of 2,50,000. So M Limited requires to raise 5 lakhs for an approved investment expenditure. Show how the MM approach affects the value of M Limited if dividends are paid, if dividends are not paid. They asked you to prove, does the payment of dividend have any value on company? So we must prove that whether the company is paid dividend or not, the market value is unaffected. According to Modi, Cleary and Miller, the value of company as on today is equal to N plus M into P1 minus I plus E divided by 1 plus K. This is the future value of equity. When you dividing with 1 plus K means we are converting into today's value. Now, we are going to prove that the value of company, whether dividend is paid or not, will be maintained at same level. So, to solve this type of questions, first we must identify the various variables. We need N, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 variables. Out of 6, N will be given, I will be given, E will be given, K will be given. So 2 components are absent. What are there? P1 and M. First you must take workings for these two, then complete substitution of those variables in the formula and find out the value of company. So I am taking here workings. Note 1. Market price of share. At year end. P1 is equal to P0 into 1 plus K minus T1. If dividend is paid, share value would be P0 100 into 1.10. minus T1 5. So share value 105. If dividend is paid, 105. If dividend is not paid, share value would be 1 time. Number of new equity shares to be issued at year end. This is denoted by M. So M is equal to I minus A minus MD1 divided by P1. I 2,50,000, 5 lakhs, if dividend is paid, 2,50,000 minus how many shares are there? 25,000 into 5. So 5 lakhs minus 3,571.43 shares. If dividend is not paid. If dividend is not paid, number of shares to be issued were much less than 3,571.23. The case 2272.73 shares approx. Since fractional shares are not possible, because if you don't take the fraction, the final value is not matched with the current value. That's why that fraction was taken. You can round up that. If dividend is paid, N, how many shares are? 25,000 plus 3571.43. Into P1 105 minus I 5 lakhs plus E 2,50,000 and minus 5 lakhs plus 2,50,000 means minus 2,50,000 divided by 1.10. 27,50,000 divided by 1.1. This is equal to 25 lakhs. $25,000 plus double 2272.73 into 110 minus 2,50,000 divided by 1.1. 25,000 plus 2272.73 into 110. So 27,50,000 divided by 110. 25 lakhs. So in both cases, you can observe that value of company is equal to 25 lakhs. Conclusion. The value of company in both cases equal to the value of company in both the cases is the same. Therefore, dividend policy has no impact on the value of the company. Value of the company. So last concept, buyback of shares. Buyback of shares. So buyback. A company can reward its shareholders in 3 ways. Way number 1, by paying cash dividend at regular intervals. Secondly, by issuing bonus shares. Third one, by buyback its own shares. By repurchasing the shares which are already issued. So in 3 scenarios, the shareholders are benefited from the company. So in this case, we are going to discuss what is buyback, what is the theoretical buyback price, and what would be the impact of buyback on the shareholders' wealth. So we are not discussing the rules which are framed in Companies Act. So what is buyback? What are the provisions pertaining to buyback of shares? So these are all law related issues. We are not tackling that. As a finance manager, we are suggesting the top management about the impact of buyback on the company's wealth. After completion of buyback, at what price the share would be traded in the market, and how the wealth of the shareholders will be impacted, how the EPS of the company will be impacted. So these areas we are focusing on the impact on the profitability, impact on the wealth of the company, but we are not focusing on the rules related to buyback. That will be taken care of by the law department. Company law department will guide us. So we can take 10% of the paid up share capital, or we can take 25% paid up share capital. Those rules are not relevant here. That's all. So first, what is buyback? Buyback means repurchasing the shares which are already issued by the company itself. If you buy your own shares, that would be the buyback. So when the buyback is resorted, repurchasing the shares of the company by the company itself. Point 1. Point 2. When the buyback is resorted, it is resorted or adopted only when the company has large surplus cash available without any investment opportunities. So if you can see ITC, a company where the market value crosses 2 lakh crores. Almost it has a cash balance of near 30,000 crores right now. According to the latest news, but it is not confirmed by the company, as the analysts are saying that the company is going for a buyback. So that case, definitely the value of share is impacted on account of the buyback. How the market treats this buyback news will influence its share value. But we are not taking the external values in the market. We are taking the fair value. What would be the fair value of share after completion of buyback? That concept was discussed here. So it is generally adopted when the company, 2 conditions must be there. You don't have any investment opportunities. That is condition number 1. Condition number 2, you have huge surplus cash. Surplus, why it is called as surplus? See, if you had an asset, so if you have fixed asset, you want to dispose that. So the cash available from the disposal of asset can also be used for buyback. But the condition is that it must be surplus cash. not by not by disposing the any assets of the company. So this the buyback means okay. This leads to reduction of number of shares and increases the EPS. It is resorted when the company has large unutilized surplus cash. Buyback of shares. Reduces the outstanding shares and increases as the number of shares decreases EPS and market price pressure. Obviously, after buyback, EPS will increase and MPS will increase. Both market price and share EPS both will rise. Point number 4. It is undertaken from the surplus cash hence no impact on the earnings capacity of the company. See, you have fixed assets of 28,000 crores. You have current assets of 2,000 crores. In that, suppose cash balance is equal to 200 crores. You want to go for buyback. This surplus cash is used to buy back the shares. So we are not affecting any part of the fixed assets, any part of the current assets. In that case, the assets will generate the same revenue. From that, you will get the same earnings as before the buyback was announced. So before buyback and after buyback, the company's earnings will be maintained at same level. So next one, fair value. Fair value or intrinsic value or theoretical value of buyback. E into P0 divided by E minus P. I just explained you. Suppose in a company there are 10,000 shares. Each share being quoted at 200. So out of 10,000 shares, they want to buy back 1,000 shares. So after completion of buyback, out of 10,000, 1,000 shares will be repurchased. So 10,000 into 200, 20 lakhs. 20 lakhs divided by 9,000. The share value after buyback would be 222.22. Sir, why did you take this 20 lakhs? See, before buyback, after buyback, the value of company will remains the same. Reason is that buyback is undertaken from the surplus cash. Here assets are not changed, earnings are not changed. So from assets you will get the same earnings as before. So we are not getting any from the shareholders. We are not making any investment on assets. As a result, assets remains the same. You will get the same earnings. As the earnings are not changed, your market value is not going to be changed. That's why the market capitalization of the company of the company before and after buyback of shares remains the same. Since we are not making any additional investment, we are not getting any additional earnings. No investment, no earnings. Then there would be no change in the value. This is just like buyback, stock split, reverse split. There are few strategies are there. These strategies are adopted by the top management when they feel that the stock price undervalued in the market and it is necessary to make it correct. To make it correct, to make it attractive, they will take few tools. Just like you are going for a party. A girl is going to a party. In normal days, she looks in normal way. When she goes to the party, you can see some magics are there. Because of that extra makeup, you may not find that girl. You may feel something different. So something is there. On the next day, the same girl looks very different. A fat man, by doing gym, by doing exercise on a daily basis, can appear something different. But the thing is, he can reduce his fat, but his existence won't be changed. Similarly, you can take makeup. You can change your look, but you are not changing there. Similarly, the company buying his shares, that's all. Company earnings are not changed. Company assets are not changed. That case, without changing earnings, without getting any earnings, shareholders won't place any extra value. But because of this makeup addition, the company share may look attractive. Few shareholders are trapped to purchase the share, but the maximum price they should put is 222.22. This is called as theoretical buyback price. Of course, after buyback, the share price may rise beyond 222.22, or the market may take this news as a negative case. If it is taken as negative news, then the share price would be much below the 222.22, because few shareholders are selling these shares in the market. As a result of selling, as a result of supply, the price comes down. So this is how the buyback impacts the fair value of a share. So you can remember that buyback is merely one of the strategy adopted by the top management. Buyback neither gives the company additional investment nor any additional earnings. That's why the market capitalization of the company before and after buyback of shares, it remains at the same level. Rahul Limited has surplus cash of 100 lakhs and wants to distribute 75% of it to the shareholders. The company decides to buy back shares. The finance manager of the company estimates that its share after repurchase is likely to be 10% above the buyback price if buyback route is taken. The finance manager estimates that after completion of buyback, the share value would be 110% of the buyback. Suppose if they bought back at 100, the share value after completion of buyback would be 110 rupees. So it would be trading at premium. The number of shares outstanding at present 10 lakhs and the current EPS is rupees 3. You are required to determine the price at which the shares can be repurchased if the market capitalization of the company after buyback 210 lakhs. Problem number 12. Computation of buyback price. Computation of buyback price. Cash to be used for buyback. They are saying that 27% out of 100 lakhs. That means 27 lakhs, 0.1. They are saying that the share value after buyback would be 10% higher than buyback price. But we don't know the buyback price that we have to calculate. That's why. Market price of share. Let X be the market price per share. Market price per share after buyback would be, that is 10% higher na, 1.1x. So they told that market value of company after repurchase, that is after buyback, is equal to 210 lakhs. So after buyback, we have less number of shares. Right now, we have 10 lakh shares. So how to find the value of company after buyback? So this is how: number of shares outstanding after buyback into market price of the share after buyback. Number of shares outstanding after buyback is equal to N minus, that is 10 lakhs minus. So from 10 lakhs, shares which are likely to be bought back should be deducted. So, but we don't know. We know the amount to be distributed for buyback, at what price X price. If you divide 27 lakhs with X, you will get the number of shares to be bought back. So if you deduct from the 10 lakhs, this is number of shares outstanding after buyback. The share value after buyback, you know that 1.1x. Make it simple. Ten lakhs x minus 27 lakhs into 1.1x. Eleven lakhs x minus 29 lakh 70,000. Is equal to 2,000. Is equal to 2,000. X is equal to 239.7 lakhs divided by 11 lakhs. 21.790. This is the buyback price. This is the price at which shares would be repurchased. But they didn't give the buyback price. In the second answer that was given, 221.79, number of shares that can be repurchased. Is equal to 27 lakhs divided by 21.7. 1,23,910 shares. So third part, EPS of the company after buyback. Earnings available to equity shareholders. Right now, they have EPS of 3, 10 lakh shares outstanding. So total earnings would be 30 lakhs. Number of shares outstanding after buyback. Out of 10 lakhs, 1,23,910 shares will be repurchased. 8,76,090. Therefore, EPS after buyback is equal to 30 lakhs divided by 8,76,019. So 3.424. So impact on EPS. Before buyback EPS was 3, now it is 3.424. So EPS increases by 0.424 rupees.